The PDF of a random variable x is shown here. We're going to want to find the CDF, and we're going to want to find the following probabilities, but we'll do that in the next video. So first we're just looking at the CDF. Now this is pulled from the textbook that this is based off of, this question is from. And so from this, we know that if our x is greater than or equal to 0, we are going to have a 1 here. If it's less than 0, we have a 0. And we are going to create an f of x for this. So that's going to be step 1, to create our f of x, and this is going to be equal to. Now for this, we are going to have 3 instances. We can see that we go from 0 to 1. We're not going to worry about anything less than 0 because that's just 0 for now, but we'll make a note of that in here because that's also important. So we have 0, and if it is less than or equal to our x, and then we have less than or equal to 1. So between 0 and 1, this x region right here is what we're looking at. And the equation that we make for it is simply just going to be x because it's linear. Now, what about the next one? The next one, we go from 1 to 2, right? So 1 has to be less than or equal to x, and then x has to be less than or equal to 2. Now, for something like this, we are doing linear, but in the opposite way. So we start with this 2, and we subtract some value from it. And that's just going to be 2 minus x. You can put any value in here, like 2 minus 1. It's going to give you this 1 point right here. And that would be the same for anything inside of here. Now, we also have one more case, and this is going to be for everything else. So else, we just have it as 0, right? Because this line is 0 like this. To find the CDF for all of these, we're just going to be kind of making the f of x, and that way we can find the probabilities in the next video. So we know that if our x is less than 0, that means our f of x is just going to be 0. Now, what if x is greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 1? Well, this is when our f of x is going to be equal to, we're going to have the integral of 0 to our x, and we are going to just integrate from a dA. Simple, we're just going to get x squared over 2. In the next one, we're going to go from 1, it's being less than or equal to x, and if x is less than or equal to 2. So with this, we have our f of x is equal to, we have our previous value, x squared over 2, but we put our 1 in, so we're going to have a 1/2 plus the integral from 1 to x again, just some x value, and we're going to go from 2 minus a, and that's just from here, just like our x was from there earlier. So we have 2 minus a, and we're integrating from dA. And this is going to give us a 1/2 plus, inside of here, we have our 2, we're going to have a minus a squared over 2, and we're going to go from x to 1. So we're going to have 1/2 inside of here, 2x minus x squared over 2 minus, we could do like the parentheses, but I'm just going to remember to put it in every single time. We'll just have 2 plus 1/2 like this. Made a little mistake writing this here. This should be 1/2 plus. And then when we look at this, this is going to give us a negative, and then we are going to just have 1/1/2. If we add the 1/2 with this, well, we're simply going to get a 2x minus x squared over 2, and then we have minus 1. So that should be our CDF for that one. And if we have x being greater than 2, right, because we're satisfying the else condition for all of this here, just as we've done here, that means that according to this right here, our f of x is just going to be equal to 1. And again, that's because of what we have right here. Same thing for this one as well. So we have everything done, and we can rewrite this and zoom out a little bit so we have everything in the picture. We're going to rewrite this as the following. So step 2, the final step, is we have f of x is equal to, have this large right here. It's going to be 0 if our x is less than 0. It's going to be x squared over 2 if 0 is less than or equal to x, and this is, or greater than equal to x, or less than or equal to x, x is less than or equal to 1, and then we have 2x minus our x squared over 2 minus 1, and then we're going to have our 1 less than or equal to our x less than or equal to 2, and then lastly we're just going to have it as 1 if our x is greater than 2. So that's going to be the answer to the first part, how we would go about doing it. And in the next video, we are going to look at how to find the following probability.